Listen up, cluckheads.
You're listening to Whiskey and Whine
With Rooster and
The Madman, where we talk about common sense, current events,
the Constitution and
morals, while comparing drinks of yesteryear to drinks of today.
so sit back, relax, leave us a comment.
Here comes Whiskey and Whine. Anyway, just say it like this. La Visa Russia.
La Visa.
No, not a V. No, not a V. La Visa Russia.
Lobista.
Nope, not a T. Where did you even hear a T in that?
I don't know. Just where are you going with this anyways?
Oh, it just means
Yellow card, blue and yellow flag even.
That's
We're recording,
Russia.
guys.
It means cluck Russia.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Clock Russia. Clock.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go.
Yeah,
So cluck Russia.
It's time to do this.
Well, welcome back.
Welcome back, cluckheads.
Damn it.
It's okay, man.
You know who we are. You listen to Whiskey and Wine, Rooster The Madman. And, you know, we are, like I said, and you know what we do. Talk about current events, Constitution,
Common sense and morals.
And me.
Morals over here.
Yeah, we got our mic back this week.
So it's gonna be good. It's a good one today. Episode 41. You know, we didn't have one. We had Snowmageddon again last week, so we.
Yeah, you only got liability insurance.
Yeah, I'm one of those liability guys, but I know to stay off the road. So
yeah, that's all right. I forgive
It's
you.
a high mileage truck, man. I'm not gonna get full coverage on that. Come on, come on, man. Can't afford that.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
But yeah, so episode 41. Before we get too far into episode 41, I want to wish the Overlord himself, DJ Shane Guns, a happy birthday.
Yeah, you know,
Is it today? It's today, right?
yeah,
It's
it was
yeah.
today.
It's the
I'm
time
kind
of
of wondering,
recording.
did they have like a little midget hooker that like came over and was sent to the dungeon or
Yellow
something?
flag.
He's not into that.
How
man.
did I get a yellow
I
flag
mean,
already?
I'm not sure his exact age, but it is a true milestone. It is something to be commended. I don't know how you can be 50 plus years old and not know the touch of a woman.
Yellow card based on intent.
I love you, DJ Guns.
That's okay.
Happy birthday, DJ.
That's
guys.
okay. That's the reason why I got kicked out of veterinary school.
I don't want to go any further with that one.
He was a bad
Don't make
boy.
me red card you.
Okay.
Oh yeah, happy birthday,
All right.
DJ.
Happy birthday,
We
DJ
love you,
Guns.
man. We love you. So
All right, so let's get into episode 41. 41.
yeah,
All right. Well, I am so glad that Lent started.
yes, yeah. It's.
I'm not even Catholic.
I was raised Catholic, so
But
you're
I mean,
supposed to
I
give
bet-
something up.
But you know, I do know that it's like the
4 days.
most
Give it up.
recognized of the Christian denominations.
Yeah, we know what
so.
DJ Guns ain't giving up.
The dungeon.
Still reserve
Still reserving the
the
dungeon.
dungeon.
So, but you know, for all you Catholics out
You know
there,
what? I just thought of something.
what's that?
What if like you could make the dungeon like really cool, like put some dino nuggets or something in there.
I don't,
To entice children? I'm not sure
I
that.
don't
No,
know where
no,
you're going
not-
with this,
I'm
man.
not sure
What do
we're
you
going
mean
with
to
that,
I
man.
don't know if I
children?
want to condone
I'm
this
a
particular
40-year-old
direction you're going.
I'm a 40-year-old man. If you put some dino nuggets in front of me, that stuff's
But
awesome.
you're a 40-year-old man with children. So you're used
Yeah,
to
so
eating
you know
dino
what? Let's
nuggets,
just
so,
let's
yeah,
just
so
skip the dino
just
nuggets.
skip that one.
Yeah,
Let's
No dino nuggets in the
dino
dungeon.
nuggets in the
Yeah.
in the-
So it's like when I had Gifted
yeah.
Chicken, I was thinking about with giftchicken.com, thinking about turning it into a brick and mortar store, and I was thinking what would be kind of cool.
We're gonna
is
give
to
out
have-
chicken nuggets.
No, where it would be kind of cool to have like this safe space zone where it had like coloring books and stuff like that. But then I was really weirded out and then, you know, maybe I shouldn't have like a place for children to sit with grown men and doing adult coloring
In a
books
beard
and-
supply store, I
and then
can see
yeah,
how
I
that'd be
just
a
it's
little
like, you
awkward.
know what? So I even went so far. I even bought a little bitty, you know, like an elementary school desk and everything. I bought it, not thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? I just better give this away because it's going to look bad in the store no matter what it is. So sometimes you have good ideas. It
That
just doesn't
tiptoes
work.
around creeper there, Rooster.
Yeah, it does. So we didn't go forward with that idea. So that was one of those dead in the water kind of ideas. But anyways, so we got a plethora of things to talk about today.
Did you say plethora?
I did.
Good word.
I did have so
Why do I need a sweater in the desert?
So
One of the greatest movies of all
it's
time.
not even really much of a plethora. I'm obviously being sarcastic about that. So we got a couple of topics we'll get to. One of them, they're probably going to go a little long today. So just fair warning for all you guys listening to that one.
For all of our people that listen for our, if you want to call it some of the high ends and low ends, yeah. Thank you, Rooster. Before I ever.
Well, this is in honor of Lent.
It's in honor of Lent. I realize that, but yeah.
So people like me who started out Catholic.
Today we are going to do Busch non-alcoholic versus Busch alcoholic.
Busch.
The idea is to give those.
And not the band Busch.
The idea is to give those observing Lent an alternative to something they might drink that's alcoholic. So for those that do drink Busch, we're comparing today Busch versus Busch non-alcoholic.
So all you guys,
and I mean, let's just be honest. It's always a little bit better if it's shaved.
I can't even yellow card. Like I can't. Like that's.
So I noticed.
I was talking about like the bushes that like trim like the landscaping and stuff.
So
like that.
for all you people giving up alcohol for Lent, we're going to give a nod to you guys during the Lent period with some non-alcoholic stuff. But since we're not hardcore Catholics around here, we also have the actual alcohol.
I do like how you got the tall boys.
Well, funny thing about Busch, not the non-alcoholic, the regular Busch beer.
The beer. Sorry, I was still thinking about the shrubbery.
Your choice of this is if you want a 6-pack, you must get a tall boy, or you have to buy the 30-pack.
But a lot of times whenever I see Busch, I have a tall boy.
We're talking high quality.
Yeah, this is
beverage
high
here.
quality. So if you're looking at the beer section,
so do they have
it's the
any-
furthest to the left.
So since obviously whenever I look at Busch and I get a tall boy, do they have any of these that are in like any V-shaped canisters?
No, they do not. But it's got the nice mountains on there for you, so you got that.
Oh, yeah. So there are mountains
there are
with
mountains.
the Busch.
And the cool thing is anytime you drink Busch, you open it up, you go, Busch. Unless you're a Busch Light drinker, then you're like, Busch Latte. Because, you got to really...
Don't spruce it up, Dirk.
You got to spruce that up.
All right. Well, since I got to start this thing off, here we
Yeah,
go. Here's the
open it up.
non-alcoholic.
We're not even using glasses on these
No, we're
things.
not.
We're just keeping
And
it
honestly,
bare
we're just
minimum.
going straight redneck. We don't even know what the alcohol percentage is.
So,
It's Busch. There's nothing.
Busch.
Sucks.
Busch.
The alcoholic percentage on the NA should be
It
0.
smells horrible.
But it's got a great can.
I'm doing the creepy Uncle Joe's sniff test. Did you just sip it?
What?
You're supposed to sniff
You're
it.
supposed to sniff
I
it
did
first.
sniff it first.
But we're
Rooster
oh my
cheats.
God.
For those that don't know, when it comes to beverage tasting, beverage sampling, Rooster is a cheater.
But it's open.
Every week we have to try to
He
intercept
didn't
Rooster
he didn't with the wine.
Yeah, see, I had class
because
that
he
day.
hates wine.
But that's also because
Do
the
not
week
like wine.
that is
correct.
also because the week before he was licking the clucking bottle of the rum.
Okay. Yeah, so you lick one dang bottle in this place, and everybody remembers.
Then you are deemed the bottle licker. Rooster is a bottle licker.
So
Wicked Hen, did you hear that?
Yeah,
We'll
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
have
That
her guest
explains,
star.
I
here
I have a
one
problem.
week.
I understand.
That explains the Overlord's collection of
But
bottles.
the good news is, this was non-alcoholic, so
it doesn't smell good.
you're not even getting to first base on this one.
It doesn't smell good at all, to be honest.
Uh,
smells
it-
like horse sweat.
It smells like cheap beer.
So it's considered the non-alcoholic. However, for those that can't have any alcohol at all, there is a disclaimer on the can. It says contains less than 0.5% alcohol by volume.
But I think that's one of those things that they have to put on, because even if you look at like O'Doul's, Heineken 0.0, some of the Budweiser 0, that they all say can contain up to.
Well, it's kind of like if you have a
0.5.
nut allergy. If there's a place, then they do everything
Feel
else.
sorry
but
for
nuts, It's going
her.
to be in there. So,
Madman.
no one Madman needs to give up for Lent.
Can't.
Madman's pushing the envelope there.
So, it's cheap non-alcoholic beer. To give you an idea, though, this was for a 6-pack of the regular 12-ounce, $8.99.
Oh, so it was a whole $2 less than the Heineken 0.0.
Yes, the
Excellent.
Busch Tall Boys,
Okay.
16-ounce, 6-pack, $6.99.
You are clucking me.
So it's cheaper to buy the
It's cheaper
alcoholic.
to buy the alcohol.
It's
Oh my
so
God.
much cheaper
Okay,
to
well,
buy
now,
tall boys
now,
than
now on the
non-alcoholic
sense
beer.
of the refining process, because they have to spend more hours buffering off the alcohol, I can kind of see that. If it was anything other than Busch, okay, why did you go with Busch?
Now, to be fair,
To be
fair.
I picked up the Beck's originally, but due to supply chain issues, there was no Beck's beer in the regular alcohol version. So I really wanted to do a true non-alcohol to alcohol comparison. And Busch was the only one other than O'Doul's that I could do that with. And we did Budweiser a couple of weeks ago. You remember?
Yeah, but we didn't do the Budweiser Zero.
No, but we did. Well, they had their duels.
Yeah.
But they
That's
had.
okay. I'll forgive you this time. It's,
But
not,
anyway,
like, it's
so-
not like you break the rules on our own show anyway.
I know, right? It's weird.
Don't drink that. Okay. So now get over to your tall boy. Let's get this thing on the Clucking Road. I got some Busch to get.
All right. So do we want so the tall boy?
I mean drink.
16
Busch to drink.
fluid ounces, $6.99 12-pack. It's in the can. It says Busch. There you go.
That's all you got to know.
Yeah,
We're-
the
like
diff-
I said, we're going
Now
straight.
the difference between the cans, just so everybody knows, they can't see it here. The difference between the cans is one has a red stripe at the top, which is the non-alcoholic with a red stripe at the bottom. The Busch alcohol version has a yellow stripe at the top with a yellow stripe on the bottom. Other than that, the cans are identical.
The alcoholic version is 4.3% alcohol by volume.
Yeah.
So literally, it's like having
It's a tall boy.
It's like having
Cheap.
sex in a canoe. It's clucking close to water.
Yeah, pretty much.
And
So-
because
Alright.
it's so cheap, it doesn't make sense to can it by the 12 ounce. They can it by the pint.
Yeah, I mean, it's.
All right, let's
I don't
do
know, it's
this.
weird.
Let's
Like
get,
I said, you could get the 12-ounce can, but you had to buy a 30-pack, which was not very much money.
let's give it the Uncle Joe's sniff test here. Sucks.
You know what? That actually smells worse.
That smells worse than the non-alcoholic one.
It's a little skunked, man.
Oh wow! All right, so
What's the
They're
born on
very-
date on this?
There are very few beverages.
I don't
we
think
allow
they
in
have a
here that
born on
smell
date.
Like the generic, just like air quotes here.
Now,
beer, but this is
it's
one of
not Steel Reserve. Remember, Steel Reserve actually made the studio smell weird because we had opened the beers ahead of time. And I said beers.
beers.
Beers?
Ahead of time because that was before we had the
Beers.
whole, smelling and the rules down to it. And
Yeah.
remember, we opened it was just sitting on the table, and about 30 seconds before we start recording, like, what the cluck is that smell? Why is it
Yeah.
stinking here?
that was pretty bad.
Yeah.
That
So-
was actually really
Now,
bad.
we don't know what the Whine punch one or the fruit punch one smells like because I'm
Or
never.
the blue raz.
Yeah, I'm not
Yeah.
tasting that one. So
No. But I'm not.
Don't do it.
No, don't you do it.
Put the
Set it
can
down. But there is one thing that I am not afraid to taste, and that is some Busch. So
Some
Let's
more-
go ahead and-
Yeah, the official taste test of Busch. Here we go. Get some
here's
clinkage going.
let's get some clinkage
Yeah. For some
going.
reason, I think you guys are behind the curve on
God,
this one.
I'm looking forward to tasting this Busch.
It's cheap beer.
It literally tastes like cheap beer.
It tastes like cheap beer, but not terrible cheap
No,
beer.
not
Like,
terrible.
Yeah.
Consumable.
All right, well, tell you what, let's jump.
Had worse
into-
things in my mouth.
Yeah.
I mean,
hey,
yes.
but hey, $20.
Yeah.
So,
so the Overlord told me.
all right. So this week we are going to kind of skip some of the big FUs, mainly because the fact that everything in our big FUs are no longer FUs; they are actual topics now.
Yes.
So I think that it goes without saying that our first topic is going to be Russia. You want to start it? You want me to start it?
You know what? I'll go ahead and start this one.
Of course.
So,
Selfish clucker.
Comrade Putin, he saw moose and squirrel in Ukraine, and he went in there and he invaded.
But the
Everybody
moose
knows.
and squirrel, they have
Yes.
riches.
So the moose and squirrel puts up quite a fight against the bear.
La Bisa Russia.
So he invaded. He thought it was basically going to be a pushover. But and I won't get into the whole phase 1 or wave 1, 2, and 3 if you've ever been in the military training against Warsaw Pact tactics. So the first wave, that comes in there, they're basically all these conscripts and people they don't really care about in Russia too much. Those are the guys of the first.
Those are your
strike.
pawns.
Yeah, those are your pawns. So they go into Ukraine and they end up finding a very different Ukraine than they saw in 2014 after they took Crimea. These guys.
What you mean? If they've done something like this before, you're crazy.
Yeah, these guys.
They didn't do anything like this in Crimea or Georgia. It's just crazy.
That and it's been crazy. They've held nothing. It seems that all the body count seems to be on the Russian side with the first wave that came in there. And
not according to the Russian media.
Yeah, of course not to the Russian media. So obviously the world is sanctioning Russia like we've never seen sanctions before. Nobody's going to put up arms
to the
Ukraine.
point that video game dollars are worth more than
I
the ruble.
mean, fun fact is
Roblox
currency is worth more than the ruble right now.
And they jumped interest in one day from 9.5 to 20%, and I don't know how much it's gone up today, but that was whenever like the markets opened in Russia.
Yeah, and there's all kinds of things. So, and of course, they keep going and they keep going. The coolest thing about this Zelensky president in Ukraine is this dude is just a trooper. So, with
but you know what? Let's let the president of the free world say, we are going to offer you the chance that we can come over there and we will evacuate you and your family.
Yeah, and he gave a savage response of, I don't need a ride, I need ammunition.
So this goes back to one of my points that I was whenever I was having a Facebook conversation with somebody. That's the difference between a politician and a leader in the field.
Yeah.
And he is a leader in the field.
Yeah.
Because he's sitting there, he's begging his citizens to come and take up arms. He's saying that no men ages 18 to 60, essentially like a draft, can flee the country, come take up arms. And then we have the president of the free world saying, I'm going to extract you. If you were one of his citizens, if that happened here in America, say like for some reason like Canada came and invaded us with BB guns and hockey sticks, and we had the president of the United States saying, take up arms, don't give in, fight for all that it's worth. And then we had somebody saying, hey, we're going to take you and the first lady and your family out of here. What kind of morale is that for the entire country?
Yeah, I mean, Zelensky.
That was one of the dumbest things that this president
and the funny
ever
thing is,
said.
he used to be a stand-up comedian
Just
before
for that,
he was president.
Just for that, I'm giving Biden the No Balls Peace Prize.
He's a far better leader than what we're seeing currently in the United States. I feel bad for him because I mean, the Russian military, it's a juggernaut. I mean, it's.
Oh
huge.
yeah, and this third wave. I mean, for those that aren't familiar with like the worst,
which is where we're at now.
The Warsaw Wave is where you actually see the real Red Army.
Yeah, I mean, it's just wave after wave. It's so many bodies and bullets you just can't fathom what's coming at you.
But
and that's
you
what
know
they're
that
experiencing right now.
With that being said, like a bunch of the Russian soldiers, whenever they have the chance to surrender, they're laying down arms. And you see them posting videos. We didn't sign up for this.
Oh, yeah.
We thought that we were coming in here to fight Nazis. This is a meat grinder. We had no idea that we were going to be the aggressors.
Well, they were promised they would be basically greeted with hugs as liberators, and what they found is nobody wants them there, and they're actually the true Nazis in this situation. Yeah. But you know,
did you see that? Much like whenever Hitler didn't trust some of his inner council, did you see that picture of Putin and his higher cabinet members where that they were sitting at that long table and he made sure everybody was away from him, almost like somebody put $1 million bounty on his head?
Well, somebody did put $1 million bounty on his head. So you've got some things going on in Russia right now. One of his oligarchs, one of his inner circle, has now got a $100 million bounty, I believe, on his head to any Russian general who takes him down, as well as there was another oligarch who died of mysterious circumstances.
Yeah, that was just coincidence.
Who happened to be Ukrainian born, but was in Putin's inner circle. But I mean, you know, there's some crazy things going on. I mean, that we love to see, like the Ghost of Kyiv.
Dude, that was the first confirmed ace since World War II.
This guy is just. I mean, I know he got down, but he didn't die. Get this guy as many planes as you can. I'd love to see if we could funnel him an F-35.
I want to make a video game out of him.
So, but I mean, he's just a beast. But I mean, sadly, they've gone from that first wave to the second wave. That second wave had all those Chechens in it who were in there like, oh, we're gonna take this. And on day one, the Chechen general was killed.
Yeah.
And I think the Ukrainian minister aide said he died like an animal in the streets.
Yeah. Well, you know that
I hate to laugh about it, but it couldn't happen
they
to a nicer
fired
guy.
over 500 missiles. A lot of them are going into like civilian areas.
Well, they're
they even
targeting
bombed.
civilians now.
They bombed a maternity clinic. They bombed schools.
And Geneva Convention is now out the window because now we're seeing
Yeah.
uses of thermobaric vacuum bombs,
Yeah.
Cluster ammunition. We know that when they took Chernobyl, it was because they actually had bombed a
Radioactive shield.
It wasn't the radioactive shield. No, it was the waste disposal.
Oh
center.
yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. It was the waste disposal.
They bombed one of those. So they need to kind of clean that up. And then speaking of it, right now, what is currently going on as we're recording this is they are shelling from 4 sides of Europe's largest nuclear power plant.
Well, surely that won't result in anything
No, it's on fire
bad.
right now. So.
No, it won't result in anything
And
bad.
it's obviously,
Rooster, come on.
it's intentional by the Russians. They're
No,
looking for something.
not
They're
from-
trying to make
not
something
from
bigger than
Putin.
Chernobyl happen. They've got to the point where they're just trying to make the Ukrainian citizenry hurt.
Oh yeah.
That's where they're at this point.
I really think they're at the point where one of the reasons that they're focusing on this isn't just for the Ukrainian citizenry. They're actually doing it to hurt all of Europe because all of Europe is against them.
Well, yeah, I mean,
To the point that even like the Ukraine is trying to get
all their
brought into Europe into NATO. Oh, timer just went off.
I mean, they've been cut off. Russia's been cut off everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, it's been bad.
Yeah. So I mean, the sad thing is, when this is all over with, they're going to have that pariah state status like North Korea and Iran because those are the only people.
Realistically, it's going to either result in World War III or it's going to result in the Cold War Part 2, and he's going to try to bring back up the Iron Curtain.
I know we're over, but I didn't want to bring up. There's this little old lady, and it was the most savage thing.
Oh,
I've ever
yes.
seen.
So
Where
this
she-
is totally worth going over. Morals, did you hear about this? The lady in the seeds?
I didn't.
So she goes up to
Oh,
2
this is
Russian soldiers
savage.
protecting a street at a checkpoint, and they're Russian soldiers. She asked them who they are. They said they're Russian soldiers. They're here on military exercises, and of course, she used a lot of bad expletives and stuff. But anyway, so she hands them seeds, sunflower seeds, I believe it is. Tells them to put them in their pockets. That way, when they die, at least something good will grow.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's savage on a whole
I'm going
new
to tell you
level.
right now, those 2 Russian soldiers have nightmares.
Yeah. Over an 84-year-old lady.
Yeah, this little elderly woman come up. It is the most savage thing I've seen.
The
so
only
far.
thing that would have made it better is if that was the same 84-year-old lady that APC crossed 4 lanes of traffic to run over that they
that
pulled
was-
out.
Yeah, they're just targeting civilians. And of course, then there was the
All right.
the Ukrainian farmer who stole the BTR. People said it was a tank. It wasn't, but that was a tanker. So I get finicky about this. Yeah,
so
it was a BTR.
What do we think of this Busch Light or this Busch whatever it is? Busch NA.
It's cheap beer. It's cheap non-alcoholic beer. So if I'm doing a non-alcoholic night, because I'm the designated driver or whatever the case may be, or in this situation, what we're doing for
I will
Lent,
say this: it is not as good as Heineken Zero.
no, you're going to be better off getting a Heineken Zero, or I mean, I don't know. I don't think I've tried the Becks, but I know we've tried a bunch of different NAs before.
We've tried the Becks. We've tried the Mickey's.
There's several
Mickey's
good ones
was
out there.
bad.
But there's some bad ones. This is not the worst. So
It's not the worst.
If you're
no.
gonna do a low end non alcoholic, this is not terrible.
It's not.
no,
terrible.
if you're if you need to save a buck and you're looking at O'Doul's, just get the Busch.
Yeah.
You'll save a buck.
If you have an
so
extra
much
buck to
difference.
spend, don't get the O'Doul's. Get the Heineken
Yeah.
0.0.
Yeah.
It's still not as good as that non-alcoholic like
Weihenstephan.
Yeah, whatever that one. That was
Hyphenstephan.
awesome. But I mean, yeah, you could save the buck or two and get the Busch, and they'll get you like a 5-pack of Swisher Sweets.
Yeah, or
Really
you could
make a
just
night of it.
just spend the extra $2 and skip the.
I would
Swisher
say get
Sweets.
cigarettes, but nobody can afford those
No.
anymore.
No.
So,
Come on, man, it's inflation.
smoke's not good for you, anyways.
No, it's not.
All right, so we went over. We're kind of done. So we ready to move over to the Busch? The Busch alcohol,
Busch.
tall boy.
Clinkage, clunkage.
Let's get our clinkage going on. All right, let's see here.
Skunked.
That is like licking a skunk's cluck hole. That's bad.
That's cheap beer.
It's cheap. Now,
Oh,
not
that
as cheap as like Mickey's.
but that explains why like the
This
Overlord
is malt
can't
liquor.
that explains why the Overlord can't keep a date around. He always grabs the Busch. Cans.
Cans. Trying to save $1.
Trying to save a couple
frugal.
bucks. That's all I'm saying.
Madman's trying to stay out of the hot seat.
So, cheap beer wise, honestly, I would go with High Life over Busch.
Yeah. And
I
that
think
says
the
something.
consensus this early in the show is just don't do Busch.
No. Out of these two, my consensus, and I'll admit that
You know what?
I've already drank the NA, so I'm gonna have to grab
I've been
another
having a
one.
bad week, so I'm going to try to be a little bit more positive. If you're at the convenience store or the gas station or beer store, and you're trying to decide between Steel Reserve and Busch,
Oh, Busch.
Get Busch. Busch
Just
all
get
day
Busch
long.
all day long, yeah. For taste.
Yeah.
Not if you're just wanting to get bent as quick as possible.
no, but I mean, you'll do a better.
All right, let's get on this next topic. Let's see what this next topic is. It is the State of the Union address, and the timer started.
Tall boy goes fast.
All right. Well, I'm so glad that dealing with the State of the Union address that we had stuff like deer in assault vest or bulletproof vest, because that's what the
deer.
Second Second Amendment's for.
Is it
And
deers or would it be deer? Or
it's deer.
when they're wearing Kevlar, does it change?
I don't know. That's a good
I'm
question.
not real sure.
If you guys
But
are
you
gonna
know-
beers, you needed deers and Kevlars.
Okay, so we got deers and Kevlars.
But yeah, his Second
But
Amendment.
the
take,
Second Amendment wasn't written for that.
It's an easy go-to for the left to always make the Second Amendment about hunting and divert what the Second Amendment was written about, because once you take the context out of that constitutional amendment, then you can make your argument. The problem is they don't have an argument for the context of the Second Amendment itself.
No.
So it's like anything else. You've got to deflect, change tell people it means something different than it really does, and then hopefully get your way. I mean, there were a
No,
couple
man, that's up
things
for
that-
interpretation.
No, it's not. It's
No,
not.
no, it
First
is.
10 are absolutely not open for interpretation.
That is your
They-
interpretation.
No,
of
they are the Bill of Rights, and they
you
are
know-
guaranteed. Read the paper.
I'm pretty sure that is just your interpretation of that, because what makes them my Bill of Rights?
The only people who have an interpretation of the Bill of Rights are socialists and communists.
Well, socialism and communism can work this time.
No,
They can this time.
ask Ukraine how that's working.
It's working great.
Ask Venezuela how's that working.
Absolutely fine.
Yeah. Everybody wants to be one of these third world turd countries.
But according to surprisingly,
If we
according
have any listeners there, we love you.
to the Pinocchio report, there were very little lies. Now, there was one huge one, but as far as the Pinocchio report, there were very little lies, but almost everything said misleading or out of context. So one of the things that he said was,
They used to call those just half truths,
Yeah.
which is a fancy way of saying lie.
lies. So one of the ones that was saying that we've had the largest job growth percentage rate in history, which is true.
Yeah.
But if you take anything from zero, because they shut down everybody's livelihood during the pandemic, if you take 2 steps forward after zero, guess what? You've had 200% increase in
And I don't think
productivity.
it's fair to call that people going back to the jobs that they had or taking jobs that pay less as fair as economic growth.
no.
It's a turd sandwich, and everybody's got to take a bite, apparently.
Yeah.
So that's where we're at. But yeah, so he was wrong on that one. The 100-round assault rifles and deers and Kevlars. He was obviously that was a blatant.
That was a blatant one. One of the biggest blatant ones, and I'm saying biggest simply for the reason that it is a very large number, was the $1 trillion deficit.
Well, he's personally responsible for cutting $1 trillion out of the deficit in his first year.
Is he?
Yeah, no, I don't think that was true at all.
I'm pretty sure that's not. No.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
I just got a phone with Corn Pop, and he said, "Man, you're a bad dude.
He's a bad dude, man.
You can't trust that guy." He's a
One of the
liar."
things that, too, I liked is that it was almost like he completely plagiarized half of Obama's State of the Union addresses.
Whoa,
and
hold
it was
on.
almost like he completely plagiarized half of Trump's State of the Union addresses. But the stuff that he said that was almost word for word Trump, years ago, the left booed during the middle of the State of the Union address. But they clapped this time, unless you're Nancy Pelosi and you're doing that weird, creepy knuckle thing.
Well, she's sucking on her dentures.
And
She's moving
she's
those
sucking on her
things
dentures, trying to get that vodka out of them. And then what's funny,
around. Russian vodka.
on the flip side of that, the stuff that was blatantly from an Obama State of the Union address, The right didn't boo this time. So
It's because they're all a bunch of hypocrites.
Yeah.
Whether you're on the left or you're on the right, bunch of hypocrites.
And we've said it before, and I'll say it again. The problem is not with the left and the right. The problem is with the extreme left and the extreme right.
Which is
because
funny.
most of the moderates, we all want the same thing, but we have different paths of getting there. With the exception of the fact that now, even the moderate Democrats are like going, "Hey."
Well, you know, it's
Hey,
funny you say
man,
that because
you're-
I don't recall a time in history, and I could be wrong, where we actually, because we've always seen a rebuttal in modern history. We've always seen a rebuttal for the opposite party after a State of the Union address. But this time we had a rebuttal for the Republicans, and then we had a rebuttal for the far left-leaning Democrats, the squad themselves, to rebuttal a Democrat president.
Oh, timer just went off.
And I know we're over, but I can't let this one go because it irritates me every time he brings it up, is when he says Reagan failed in his trickle-down economics. That stuff doesn't work. I'm trying not to get a yellow card here. That's a lie. It is so feather-legged that, you know what? Shame on the dude. It does work. Reagan was the most prosperous president ever. We all lived great.
For those that can't see what we're doing, since we're audio and not video, Rooster's looking at me and choosing his words so carefully.
Oh,
So according to the Wall Street Journal,
trickle-down economics does work. Stop saying it doesn't. Go back to it.
You know,
Oh, and the other thing is we talked about the gas prices, and he's
in
asked.
some parts of the country they've already gone up 75 cents.
Well, it's up.
But you know what? That's just because the fact that that's the
it's
price
only up
that
8 cents today.
no, I'm saying that's 8 cents from yesterday.
Yeah.
So it's been a total of 75 cents since the Ukrainian invasion.
No, actually, it has only been about 31 cents.
That's 31 cents on average.
Correct.
But in some areas of the nation, it's as high
Nobody
as
cares what goes
75.
on in California or New York,
well,
anyways,
you know
right?
what, I'm not gonna-
They don't
not
like
gonna-
gasoline.
not
I
gonna-
mean,
not gonna
they're
disagree.
they're like anti-gas anyway.
welcome to Whiskey and Wine, where Madman and Rooster do what they want, and times don't matter.
Yeah, times do matter. So let's get back on
Times.
topic here.
So we-
and
so we're-
let's not
so we're-
talk about the fact that he could have said, "Hey, I'm going to undo my executive action that'll let us drill and bring the oil prices down."
Yeah.
He didn't do it.
I mean,
didn't do it.
we're not going to include that.
Not at all.
Because it's past time. I mean, we're not going to include the fact that we were having to buy 595,000 barrels of oil from Russia per day. But if we had kept the XL
inflation's
pipeline
at a record
open,
high. None of
we would have
that
had
stuff.
about 830,000, creating more jobs and being able to export that. We're not going to include that because we went over on time.
We did start out by saying this episode was going to go long because we knew these topics were a little
Yeah, that's why we're
touchy.
cutting out the big FUs on
That's
this
what
one. So.
the big FU.
Big FU stands for follow up.
Does it?
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, we're not going to have that today. So.
Yeah. So, all right. So, what you think about this wonderful comparison that you brought us tonight?
We need to do a go back. We didn't do a go back. I mean, we're a little off our game because we're not going to follow up to the go back. So start with the
So
Busch.
I just had the Busch
alcohol.
alcoholic. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the Busch non-alcoholic.
So
Okay, the Busch alcoholic does have a little bit more body to it.
it's stronger.
It has a little bit more heft to it.
it's a
I'll
heavier
give it that.
taste. Yeah. Honestly, the Busch NA tastes like a water. And I'm going on a limb here because I'm pretty sure this 6-pack is a little old because it's kind of got a little skunk to it.
Nope, that's just Busch.
Oh, is that?
I mean, you always expect to have that like seafood.
I don't
skunky
drink
smell,
Busch,
but,
man.
You know,
So
it's,
I'm a natty light kind of guy. If I got
yeah.
to slum it, actually,
You
I
know.
like the high life. So
There's very few times that Busch doesn't have like a little bit of that seafood skunk smell.
yeah. So it's the NA seems like a very watered down version of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you're going from shrimp to crawdads.
Yeah.
When we're talking about Busch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah. Those little pesky critters.
I'm yellow carding you both just based on all the innuendos flying across this table right now.
Little itchy bastard.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to throw out any innuendos, but whatever.
No,
So-
I think you mean enduros, those motorcycles that
Oh yeah, that's what I meant.
go on the dirt or the street.
That's exactly what I meant.
Yeah, that's totally what he went. Good
Yeah,
save there, Rooster.
That's what we're talking
Got
about.
Madman's
Enduros. Yeah. So yeah, they're cheap. So To all my Catholic friends giving up alcohol for Lent, Busch and A, if you're trying to save $1. So if you're my poor Catholic friends, give it a go.
What if you just I don't really.
If you're my regular Catholic friends who are not giving up for Lent and your go-to is Busch,
my go-to is Busch.
you might want to talk to your priest, get a little counseling.
You've got a confession to make.
You've got some stuff to confess up to.
Okay.
And be careful with those confessions, because sometimes you can, you can't see the priest in that confessional, but sometimes you can hear the
Yellow
facial
card.
expressions. Especially when
I'm not
mom's
sure
like,
where you're
"Oh,
going
good
with
God." I mean, go on, my son.
Like Jesus Christ! I'm sorry.
You sick.
Just would you continue, my son?
5 Hail Marys and.
What if you don't really have a winner?
Just go ahead and drink the holy water. You need the holy water.
You just need to bowl that cluck out of you. What if you don't really have a winner tonight because they both suck?
Sure. Why not?
I mean, I know that we always say that we have to have a winner.
I'm going to go with Busch just because it's more like a beer.
I'll go with you on that. It seems like this one is like...
Because it says beer.
It seems like the Busch in
it's more like a beer. They're both Busch.
Well, Busch alcohol.
There we
the
go.
tall boy.
Yeah.
Because we saw the mountains
Matches your
past the bush.
Because, after a couple of these tall
if you
boys,
look at- if you
my
look at
sadness will go away.
If you look at the can, here's the bush, but it's almost like the land's laying flat. So here's the bush, and you can see those glorious mountains right past the bush as it's laying.
I don't know, man. And the way I look
flat,
at it is...
like right there. I'll have to go with you on the bush. On
2 or
on the
3 of
bush.
the NAs, and my sadness continues. 2 or 3 of the Busch tall boys, and
The only reason I'm saying the tall boys is simply because of the fact that it has more
just be
body.
careful, because sometimes I can say things that I don't realize are coming out of my mouth.
Yeah, but I'm gonna go with the tall boys just because of the fact that
It's cheaper.
It's cheaper and it does resemble more of a beer.
And in this time,
And for some reason, even compared to the other NAs that we've done, this one has a really metallic aftertaste.
it's the can you're tasting. So there's not a lot of flavor to it. It's just the can. I think that we're getting on that one.
Maybe.
I mean, it's a really weak. It tastes like a really weak beer, like almost someone had truly watered it down.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah.
Well, that was episode 41. Thanks for tuning in to Whiskey and Wine with the Rooster and the Madman. Make sure to, whenever you say your prayers tonight, to thank General Mattis, and maybe that we can get some more firepower over there to the Ukrainian guys.
Yeah, I'm hoping they can just hold out, and ultimately they can deal Russia a Spartan moment or an Alamo moment where they break that army.
I was thinking, because it's, season of Lent, that I could set up my General Mattis candles and Saint
Sure.
Mattis of Quantico with
St.
the
Mattis Quantico.
with the holy hand grenade. But anyway, you've been listening to Whiskey and Wine with the Rooster and the Madman. Thanks for tuning in. And remember, in a world full of chickens,
Be a rooster.
you're listening to Whiskey and Wine. Thanks for tuning in to Whiskey and Wine with the Rooster and the Madman, where you can catch brand new episodes every Saturday at 4 p.m. on Deep Dallas Radio on Locked and Loaded with DJ Shane Guns.
Special thanks to our sponsor, GiftedChicken.com, home to all your beard, bath, and body care needs. Veteran owner operator right here in North Texas. Remember to pick up a bottle of Overlord's Dungeon Oil. It's 100% all natural coconut oil.
Leaves you prickly on the insides.